This is a lovely little spring table clock made by Henry Jones in London in about 1680, and it just shows the quality that the London makers had come up with by the end of the 1670s, and how in 20 years the design has been perfected so that it's a coherent, beautiful, delicate whole idea and a lovely spring table clock. The top here has got a lovely silver knob handle mounted on the panels here with floral bases. You've got the 4 mounts on the low caddy top all round so that it's a beautiful sight, whatever corner or side you come and look at it in. The dial itself has been skeletonized, but each half-hour marker has been placed on separately. It's got not to rotate because they're lozenge shaped, and so each hole has to be non-rotating and fixed with a little pin at the back. So it's a very expensive way of doing a dial, but it looks lovely. And then you've got the 4 corner silver spandrels, beautifully detailed, beautifully chased, and you've got right down to the bun feet here, which are covered again with floral ornaments in silver. So you've got this lovely spring table clock with all these silver mounts to make it look quality and grace a nice, expensive house. If I move the time on to 2, it'll strike 2. Just struck 2 on the deep bell, and so if I move the time forward to 2:30, it'll repeat 2 on a higher bell. There we go. So that's 2:30 on the high bell, 2 o'clock is on the low bell. And that's called Dutch striking, and was most of the town hall clocks in Holland at this time had that method of striking so that you could hear the time every half an hour. The other feature about this clock is that it's a repeating clock, and so that not only does it strike on the hour and the half hour, but if you wonder what the time is, then there are these 2 pull cords, one each side, and if I pull it, it'll now repeat the last thing it struck. The last thing it struck was 2:30, 2 strokes on the high bell. So let's do a repeat. If we were in the middle of the night and we wondered what the time was, we could reach up and get hold of the little silver ornament and then give it a pull. 1, 2. So it's 2:30 in the morning. This clock appears to be the earliest of Henry Jones' repeating table clocks. It was made, I repeat, in about 1680, and so this was the first, as far as we know, of Henry Jones's mechanisms, which used the rack striking and the repeat mechanism to give you the hours on this side on a low bell and the hours on that side on a high bell. So that if you like, it's a poor man's strike version, dressed up in this beautiful case with this lovely dial, spandrels, escutcheons, feet. It's a lovely little clock. If I open the back door with the glass so you can see the detail, Henry Jones made a feature of engraving his backplate to show off the ends of his arbors. The engraving is also used in swirls to show off these clicks. These clicks around here are solely used for setting up the clock, to put the initial force onto the spring. And they're just ornamental, they'll never be used again, and yet they've been done so beautifully. And the clicks and the springs at the bottom here, they're works of art in their own right, and yet they only work once. So you've got the little bob pendulum ticking away, and if we want to carry it round up to the bedroom, it's got a nice little hold to hold the rod of the pendulum, which holds the bob of the pendulum against the gap in the two springs, so that it's locked into place. And now it's all ready. Take it upstairs to bed. I wouldn't pick it up by the handle, might come off. So with being Dutch striking, of course, the striking train has to do twice the number of an ordinary hour striker, and with the repeat, so that the striking train here has a lot to work to do from the spring and the fusee. So it is a really big spring, and yet the case has been kept slim because the furthest back of any of the objects is the pendulum bob, and see, they've scalloped away the back door to make sure there was plenty of clearance. And rather than make the case wider, they've just scalloped away the oak of the frame of the back door.